To learn Portuguese from absolute zero, where would you even start? As a Portuguese teacher, this is one of the things that I am asked the most by beginners who feel completely lost. Should I get a textbook? Which is the best one? Should I start with grammar? How do I practice listening? When do I start to speak? If any of that sounds like you, then this is the video for you. You are so lucky if you are just about to start your journey, because there are so many more ways available right now to help you learn that are better than a textbook. I've been studying Portuguese for 15 years, way before YouTube even existed. But if I was starting to learn Portuguese from scratch today, this is the plan I would follow. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I am Liz and this is Talk the Streets, the channel dedicated to helping you build your confidence and conversation skills in practical Portuguese so you can live Portugal at its best. I publish new tips and tutorials every week, so if this is the type of content you're looking for, you have found it. Click subscribe and hit the bell to get notified every time I upload something new. So today I have 5 steps that I would recommend if you are starting Portuguese from scratch. And if you haven't taken all of these steps, now is the time to start. The first one is setting your intention and your goals. Now, before you even think about opening a book or downloading an app, you need to get really clear on why it is you are learning Portuguese. This is a long and difficult journey to go on, so by being really clear about what's motivating you and by setting yourself some goals, it's going to massively increase your chance of success. So ask yourself the following. Why do I want to learn Portuguese? How is it going to make my life different? And what does success look and feel like? Think about this, write it down so you can come back and read it whenever you're starting to struggle. So fill in these gaps with me. I'm learning Portuguese so I can blank. I will feel blank when I am able to blank. So this might sound like the following. I'm learning Portuguese so that I can make connections in my new city. I will feel confident and at ease when I'm able to navigate practical situations by myself. So that covers why you want to learn and some kind of tangible goal. Now, a message on goal setting really quickly. Usually when people are setting goals with languages, they think of the word fluency. But I want to tell you right now, if you set the goal to be fluent when you're just starting, anyone who tells you that you can do that within a very short space of time, whether it's days, weeks, or months, they're lying to you, okay? That's garbage and it's only gonna make you feel bad. So why not set yourself some much more honest, realistic targets that you know you're gonna be able to accomplish in a few months' time? That's gonna really help you stay motivated. So this might be, I want to be able to hold my own when I'm out and about on public transport, or I want to be able to understand what my mother-in-law is saying to me. So take that template sentence, write yours out, and even share it with me in the comments if you like. I would love to see why you are learning. So on to step 2, we need to start with the sounds. Now, you knew I wasn't going to say grammar, didn't you? This is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make because they reach straight for a book or an app without remembering that the most important thing in language learning is speaking. You can't speak correctly and be understood until you have mastered the individual sounds in the language that you are learning. It's also a dead giveaway that you're a beginner if you have bad pronunciation, all right? So because pronunciation is the first thing that I cover with my students, many of them within days or weeks get mistaken for a more advanced speaker purely because they've really practiced these sounds and they sound really great. So for example, the nasal sound in words like sim and now. Getting these right early on is going to make a huge difference. I have got a free pronunciation guide that you can download in the description to get you started, and this is exactly how I started when I was learning Portuguese all those years ago. We did pronunciation drills at the beginning of every lesson for months, and it really pays off. Step 3 is to focus on frequency. What do I mean by this? You need to start by learning the most frequent words that you are going to use on a day-to-day basis or based on your own personal goals. If you want to be able to handle practical situations like being at the cafe or in the supermarket, you're going to need to start with making short vocabulary lists for those situations. So for example, the 2 or 3 things that you usually order rather than an entire menu. One of the biggest mistakes that I see beginners making over and over again, which I mentioned in this video over here on deadly mistakes, is trying to overwhelm themselves with too much vocabulary and including vocabulary in their lists that they're not going to use on a day-to-day basis. Our active vocabulary, the words we use every day, is actually pretty small. In English, we only need to know about 800 words for us to be able to understand about 75% of what's said in normal life. So as well as practical vocabulary, this is going to be stuff like posso, may I, or queria, I would like. You don't need to know all the conjugations of those verbs. Just being able to talk about yourself is a really good start. So write a list of all of the words that you say the most frequently. Please, thank you, nice to meet you. And you can even create your own set of flashcards using an app like Quizlet. You could also use post-it notes to label everything in your house so you get to know that vocabulary as well. You can grab my list of 100 essential words in Portuguese that I made on Quizlet with audio down in the description. So number 4 is getting to grips with grammar, the big one that had to come at some point, right? So I am not one of those teachers that is gonna drown you in grammar, but I'm also not one of the ones who says that you don't need to learn it at all. It is important, but it shouldn't be your sole focus. You need to balance it with everything I was just talking about, the sounds and the frequent practical words. So when it comes to learning grammar, there are lots of different avenues you could take. You could get a tutor on italki, or you could even join a class in your local area. But whatever you decide to do, just make sure that you're not only focusing on grammar in those classes. Make sure that you're practicing your pronunciation and putting what you're learning to practice. And that's what we're going to talk about next. I don't really have a favorite textbook that I recommend, but the most popular ones are Gramática Ativa and Português 21, which I used all the way back in 2005. My main advice here is to keep it bite-sized and use it or you will lose it. This means putting what you are learning into practice, and that is step 5. So number 5 is forming daily habits. Now, none of this stuff is going to mean a thing if you are not practicing and immersing yourself in Portuguese every single day. But wait, I don't live in Portugal. I don't have any Portuguese friends. It's okay, you can do a ton of immersion anyway. First of all, sit down and work out when it is in your day that you're going to be doing Portuguese practice. Is it at the very beginning of the day? Is it after work? Come up with a routine and make sure you stick to it. I recommend at least 30 minutes a day. An hour is ideal, but what you want to do is do little and often so that it builds up over time. During the week, you want to make sure that you are covering listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So make a list of activities you can do for each, and here are a few of my favorites. Listening to music. I love this one, particularly for practicing pronunciation. You can use the app Lyrics Training, either on your computer or phone, to listen to Portuguese songs, listen out for how the singers pronounce them, and then sing along. Why not? Try some Disney, it's guaranteed to cheer you up. What about watching TV? You can get a VPN to access content in Portugal, on Portuguese Netflix, for example, or you can get the RTP app, which is available abroad, so you can watch a whole host of content from the national Portuguese broadcaster. I would recommend starting with kids shows so that you're not too overwhelmed. If you try and watch something too long or too complicated aimed at older people, then you're going to get a bit lost. So check out kids programs first. I've also got a few more videos here that can give you some more ideas. Following social media accounts. Whichever social media app is your favorite, why not start following some accounts in Portuguese? That way, whenever you're scrolling, and I know you're going to be scrolling, you'll start to read Portuguese on a daily basis. So I really like TikTok, it's so much fun. So obviously I get served, because I'm in Portugal, a lot of content filmed here. So that means that I can read the captions, I can read the text on the screen, and I'm always discovering new words and new phrases. You can even change the language setting in your phone to be Portuguese, so you can even start getting used to seeing the menu and those kind of common words in Portuguese as well. Or what about getting a language learning partner? Weekly speaking practice is invaluable and the most important thing you should be doing once you reach a baseline level. Not only will you keep yourself tuned into the language, but you'll make a new friend and learn more about the culture as well. This can easily be done online with a range of apps or different websites that help you do this. I did a whole video on it over here, which you can also check out. All of these videos are going to be linked down below in the description. The list goes on. Honestly, I could go on all day, but I have made a couple more videos about that topic, so go and check those out next if you want more ideas for daily habits. The last piece of advice that I want to give is to fall in love with the habit and not get obsessed with the results, okay? If you are enjoying your Portuguese study time, which you should be doing if you're doing all of these fun things that I've suggested, if it's your me time, if you're looking forward to it, you're actually gonna stick to it and you're gonna want to do it day in, day out. And then guess what? The results will just come naturally. Please share with me in the comments your goals for Portuguese and the apps and tools and different things that you use for studying. I'm sure it will help somebody else. You can watch all of the videos that I mentioned on this channel. The links will be all down below in the description, as well as links to the free resources that I mentioned. I also have a free 60-minute lesson to get you started with the very basics. I would love to see you there. Até a próxima, pessoal. Ciao!